Hello. In this lecture of International Financial Management, we will do covered interest rate parity, which is also known as spot futures parity. Now, this is a parity relationship which must hold in the foreign exchange markets because of arbitrage considerations. That is to say, if this parity relationship did not hold, then there would be an arbitrage opportunity for traders to make a riskless profit. And the way arbitrage works is that if traders make a riskless profit, they will move the prices back towards parity. To understand this parity relationship, let us look at the yen-dollar currency exchange market. So in this market, suppose that the futures exchange rate is F. That is to say, a trader can today enter into a contract to exchange dollars for yens at a future date at the rate F. So the trader can fix a price at which the trade will happen at a future date. But the price is fixed today. There is no exchange of money today. However, at the future date, that price will be honored. Also suppose that the exchange rate in the spot market is E. That is, traders can exchange yens for dollars today itself at the rate E. Now, to understand this parity relationship and why it must hold, we need to realize that there are two ways in which this transaction can be done. There are two ways in which you can do a futures transaction. Now, if there are two ways to do this transaction, they must have the same result, and if they don't, then there will be an arbitrage opportunity. So what is the first way to effect a futures transaction? Well, the first way is the obvious way. Just simply enter into a futures contract. But what about the second way? Well, we want to use the other instruments which are there in the financial markets to make a synthetic futures contract, and to do that we first need to understand what are the cash flows produced by a futures contract. Well, a futures contract produces a negative yen cash flow at the future date because the trader will be giving yen to receive dollars, and by receiving dollars there will be a positive cash flow in the future. But what about cash flows today? Well, by their nature, futures contracts do not have any exchange of cash today, so the cash flows today will be zero. So zero cash flows today. So this is what a futures contract looks like. Produces negative yens in the future, positive dollars in the future, and zero cash today. Well, look at these cash flows individually. You have a negative yen cash flow in the future. What other instrument in the market gives you a negative yen cash flow in the future? Well, you simply sell some yen bonds today. If you sell some yen bonds today, and if these bonds are riskless, that is, you are definitely going to pay that much yen, then in the future you will have a predictable negative yen cash flow. So for the first cash flow, the instrument we use are yen bonds which you sell. or it is the same thing as borrowing yens today and having to repay these yens in the future. Similarly, for a positive dollar cash flow in the future, we are going to simply buy dollar bonds today. Now, buying dollar bonds is the same as lending dollars today. When you buy dollar bonds, you are giving dollars today and you will receive dollars in the future, which is the same as lending dollars today and receiving your money back with interest in the future. And again, this is riskless because we want a predictable dollar cash flow in the future, just like a futures contract produces a predictable dollar cash flow in the future. So we've done 2 of the 3 cash flows, but now we also have some cash flows which are not there in the futures contract. That is, today we have yen cash flows, positive yen cash flows, because we borrowed yens, and we also have today a negative dollar cash flow because we lent dollars, the same as buying dollar bonds. So what do we do with these extra cash flows that we have today? To make the yen cash flow 0, what we can do is that we can take our yens to the foreign exchange market. Now we have positive yens and we can convert them to dollars. So we will have positive dollars from converting yens to dollars and negative dollars because we had lent dollars. Now we must end up with a $0 amount by arbitrage considerations, because if we don't, then we are doing the same thing as the futures contract but ending up with a non-negative amount today, and that would become an arbitrage opportunity. This will become clearer as we work through an example which we are going to do soon. Now this parity relationship, which is derived from arbitrage considerations, is that the futures rate must equal the spot rate into 1 plus the riskless yen rate divided by 1 plus the riskless dollar rate. So this is the riskless yen rate and this is the riskless dollar rate, and it must be divided. Now if this parity relationship is violated, there will be an arbitrage opportunity, and that is what we are going to see in this example that we do now. So in this example, we have the yen dollar exchange rate today, that is the spot rate, to equal 100 yen for a dollar. Also suppose that the riskless rate for dollars is 5% per annum, and in Japan it is 2% per annum. So the question is, what would be the futures rate for exchanging yens for dollars 1 year from now? Now why 1 year? Because we have the riskless rates for a year each. So when we calculate the futures rate by using this riskless rates, it would give us the answer for a year out from today. So the futures rate by the spot future parity relationship must equal 1 plus the Japanese rate, which will be 1.02, divided by 1 plus the US rate, which will be 1.05, into the spot rate, which is 100 yen for a dollar, which will be equal to 97.14. So the spot future parity relationship says this is what the futures rate must be, and if there is not, then there will be an arbitrage opportunity. Now, one way to get the intuition of what is happening here is that you think about it this way, that today 100 yen equals $1. A year from now, that 100 yen, because of the 2% riskless rate, will become 102 yens. A dollar at the same time, because of the 5% US riskless rate, will become $1.05. So a year from now, 102 yens should equal $1.05, and that is what the futures rate must be. Because the futures rate fixes today the price at which the trade will happen a year from now. And these trades can be arranged today itself at the riskless rate.